Let me bring in my next guest, Abigail Arbarbanel. She joins me now live. She's a Jewish peace activist and also the editor of Beyond Tribal Loyalties, Personal Stories of Jewish Peace Activists. Thank you so much for being with us on the program once again. Now, there has been an outstanding amount of support from Jews across the world for Palestinians, with them calling for a permanent ceasefire and for an end to the occupation. But pro-Zionists often find that to be anti-Semitic. Just walk us through why that is.
Well, technically, there shouldn't be anything special about Jews protesting against genocide and supporting their fellow human beings. When they're being tortured, oppressed, and killed, we're all human beings. Except Israel has hijacked the definition of Jewishness, and it requires all those who see themselves as Jews and that Israel sees as Jews to be automatically loyal to Israel. It doesn't matter how good or bad Israel is, what Israel does, how horrible life in Israel might be, or how fractured the society is. Jews everywhere are required to place loyalty to Israel above all else. That means even if they have feelings about their fellow human beings, Israel demands loyalty before everything. Israel sets itself up as the safe haven for Jews all over the world from the next Holocaust. So supporting Israel is seen as something existential, as if you support Israel, you support the survival of the Jewish people. If you object to Israel, you support effectively the annihilation of the Jewish people. This is what it boils down to. It's really about a particular type of psychology rather than anything to do with politics.
Talk to me about your experience as an activist. How has the response been from both sides? I do understand that you've been receiving some death threats, which has you concerned and has us concerned for that matter. How has the response been overall?
Well, let me just be accurate here. The death threats I received were many years ago when I first started, and that was in Australia. And back then I had to get the help of the Australian police to help me with that, and they were absolutely brilliant. I have not had any threats for many years. I've lived in Scotland for 14 years now, and I've had no trouble at all. Occasionally you get an email that is telling me that I am a traitor or that I'm anti-Semitic or that I'm wrong, but I don't engage, and it doesn't really bother me. I do not fear death threats, and it tells you everything you need to know. If a country or a group of people needs to threaten anyone because they object to them, that's the answer. You know who you're dealing with, because normal people, when somebody objects to them, don't threaten. They don't use bad language. They don't behave that way. So no, I am not a victim. I've always wanted to emphasize that I've not suffered anything serious. I've lost all my friends in Israel. Of course, nobody wants anything to do with me. My entire family are Zionists. They support what Israel is doing in Palestine and in Gaza right now. Yeah, sure, I've lost all of that, but I've also gained the friendships of amazing people since I started to speak out a little bit. I'm not the victim. The Palestinians are.
As someone who has renounced their Israeli citizenship and who's been watching all of this from the outside, the last 4 months from the outside, Israel's regional policy from the outside, what do you think their ultimate aim is here?
The ultimate aim is to remove every last Palestinian from historic Palestine, and the whole area of historic Palestine, Israel aims to settle it with Jews only. Israel was intended always as the product of a settler colonial project, which is about replacing the non-Jewish indigenous people of Palestine with Jews. I want the world to have no doubt about what Israel is doing. The pretext of attacking Hamas is just a pretext. All the Palestinians know it, and everybody who knows Israel knows it as well. Israel wants to remove every last Palestinian. The majority of the Israeli citizens, the Jewish Israeli citizens, are supportive of their government. There have been protests against Netanyahu recently, but they're relatively small, only hundreds of thousands of people. We're talking about the rest of the state of Israel supported. The aim is to remove every last Palestinian. What you're watching is settler colonialism, the last stages of genocide, the last stages of ethnic cleansing. Israel, I want to add too that when I look at the humanitarian disaster, you need to understand that Israel is creating it deliberately. Israel wants the Palestinian to become the problem of the rest of the world. This humanitarian disaster is not some kind of collateral damage or some kind of an accident because of war. It is deliberate. It is absolutely deliberate. The way that Israel is playing with, oh, we will allow this many trucks or those many trucks, and we will have some humanitarian aid. The whole point is to make the people so destitute and so desperate and in such a dangerous position that the world will finally cave in and will let the Palestinian go in somewhere else, just leave. This is what Israel is aiming for. And I am absolutely, what upsets me, apart from watching the terrible images from Gaza right now, what upsets me equally is the fact that the whole world is colluding with it. And I do not believe for 1 second that leaders in the West do not know what Israel is or what it's aiming to do.
Right.
And any Jew who supports Israel is collaborating in ethnic cleansing and genocide. There is absolutely no other way to look at it.
Okay, Abigail Abarbanel, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour and sharing that insight with us. I appreciate your time.